Hello, my dear Gemini viewers. Welcome to my tarot card channel. I am in the midst of growing this channel back up, so if you'd be so kind as to like and subscribe, you will benefit from having a lot more of these general meetings, I guess we could call it that, right? Where we will be diving into what you're going through for the month at present. Today we're going to be doing March 2020. We are in Mercury retrograde until the 10th of March, so I hope you all are doing okay as we go through that retrograde. You will be seeing me walk around the table a little bit. I do a pretty large spread. As you can see, I work with many decks. You will not see this spread anywhere else. This is something that I created specifically for all of my cards, so they will work together. So I will be talking about the spread at hand. Now keep in mind also that this is a general reading. That means that there may be things that you need clarity on. If that's the case, go ahead and put a comment in the comment box as your questions arise, and I will also put in the description box all the ways that you can contact me, book a personalized reading, or all of the other things that I offer. I'm actually a spiritual coach. I'm an online business coach. I do many things, and I would love to chat with you about how to work together. If you're watching in the month of February, I am running a special for my tarot readings, $45, which is half off for the month of February to go through Valentine's Day. It does not have to be a love-related reading to get the special. And just reach out to me if you would like to discuss your own personalized reading. Sometimes it's just a little bit easier when I know there's not sometimes over thousands of people watching for me to hone in on the energies and get a reading specifically for you. So today, at the bottom of this deck here that I started out with, which is the Dreams of Gaia, I will also put a list of all of my decks in the description box if you feel called to them. This is the energy crowning your reading, and it is the intuition. So beautiful, beautiful card. We have this female here, feminine energy. There we go. She has a spider down here below, which is all about creation. This is understanding that you create your own reality. Then in her hands here, we have kind of this crystal ball with space. It's the moon and the stars, right? So this mystical connection. She's also kind of floating here in space. So this is about your meditative state and who you are at your core, your spiritual core values. We also have the owl here, and the owl is about seeing 360 degrees, right? So seeing past illusion, seeing through the bullshit. So that will be, oh, there's also a black cat there. I didn't even see that before. So that will be the basics of this reading. It might be to dive deeper into your intuition. Beautiful. So right in the center here, still kind of working on the energies that are leading your reading as we get forward here, the Queen of Water, also known as Queen of Cups in traditional tarot. So we have the crab here. I absolutely love that. And the turtles as well. So we have not necessarily a third eye, but this like upwards of the crown chakra. This is like the 8th chakra awakened. And the water sign, specifically the Queen, is all about this command, right? We see this fluidity that's coming, that's kind of her hair going down here, where she's able to manipulate, command, control, however you want to put the word, her surroundings without moving herself. So that will be a pretty beautiful energy for your reading. This here is going to be your past. And in the past, we have this guy who's so funny. I just love his face. I'm trying to find the perfect light. There it is. So again, third eye open, and the 8th chakra up here, that is also wide open. So this ability to see beyond the bullshit continues. So we have these balls of power here in his hands. He's smiling this soft smile because he's in exact alignment. So this is also a water. This is the 8 of water. And this is all about the mana of life mana, because we have the dolphins here, and dolphins are about happiness and beauty and smiling, right? So this is all about that genuine smile, happiness, because you are in alignment with your intuition, with your spiritual abilities, and with your emotions as well. In your mindset or your introspection, we have the air here. Now, this is a decision card. Very interesting. This is another 8. So we have 2 8s. Now, there's 2 swords here being held, and the swords are represented by the air signs. So in traditional tarot, this is the 8 of swords. So you will see swords in this deck, but they do not follow the specific criteria of the Rider-Waite Smith. So there will be some differences as we go about. But in any case, 2 swords, meaning 2 ideas. One of them is connected here to a chain, and it is causing this being, this character, to bleed. So it's a decision that's weighing heavy. Obviously, there could be the energy of one is good and one is bad, but there's this essence of waiting, right? And that's what's actually creating this heaviness here, that's making the bleeding happen. So this is a not knowing how to move forward card. This is a awaiting further instruction card. And what I'm noticing here is that the chakras also, though, are glowing. So this is somebody, the character here, or what's going on in your mindset is you're awaiting further instruction, but you don't actually need to be. Again, the crown of this entire reading is you are the commander. You have the intuition. You get to decide. So there's no reason to wait. And up here is the messages from your spirit realm. There's this 5 here, the 5 of fire. The glare is going to drive me insane, you guys. Okay, so 2 characters here, both male, but that is not actually prevalent. When I see this in messages from the spirit realm, because it's not likely that this is a physical fight that's happening, it could be, and it's something that is determining your decision making because you're afraid to make the decision that's going to cause a ruckus. But the universe is here to say, cause the ruckus, which is so fun. I think when I see the spirit message being in this upper quadrant here that says aggression of any kind, it means literally taking more action, putting that step forward to show the universe and declare with jurisdiction and kind of this dictatorship energy. It's like the universe wants that from you. This is your forward action. This is what to expect. Interesting. We have 2 swords here. It's actually a fire card. This is the 6 of fire. Now, this is a kind of an emperor energy here that's sitting and being referee between the 2 fighting. And what I love about this is that this person here has the dark skin, light cloak. This person has dark cloak, light skin. So in cartoons or storytelling or drama class, from what I remember, you know, the right person or the knight in shining armor would be on a white horse. And I'm called to that because there's white and dark, but they each are a yin and yang. So in this current situation, what I'm feeling for some of you is that there's really no right or wrong answer when it comes to this decision being made, this quarrel coming to an end or to a head, I suppose you could say. But it may actually be beneficial for you to have a counselor here to say, okay, it's your turn to speak, now it's my turn to speak. Another interesting aspect to this card is that even though this is a fire, there's a cup here that's overflowing, which means emotions may be ruling this decision or this quarrel, this fight, this challenge. And it could be within you, it could be between you and another person. It would be easier to tell in a personal reading. So the dripping here of the cup is feeding these bright flowers, and they're yellow flowers, which represent the sunlight. And we have the sunlight coming from this character here, the kind of the Hierophant or the Emperor that is the referee of the challenge. He has all good and right and just, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentions. He wants the best for both sides. And I think that that is also you. You don't want to make the decision because what if it's the wrong one and somebody ends up hurt? So we're going to dive a little deeper into this. I'm creating some space between your mindset, your core, and your action taking, because we're actually going to grab from here the Wildwood Tarot. This will follow kind of the elements as well, cups and wands and that. It's just called something different. I want this one here. Okay, so we have a Knight of Stones, Knight of Pentacles, which is the horse. Now, I love horse energy because it's all about power. And we see that in the center of your reading, right, is delegating that power. And this is more about delegation, more about control. You see the horse is kind of bucking, it's doing its own thing, it may be running away. It's like the Mustang waiting to be tamed, but it doesn't have to be in a way that's going to be constricting, or it's not dirty power is what I'm hearing, which is funny. So it's not about controlling, being controlling. That isn't what it is that you want. You want to tame the Mustang so that you can better understand them. So now the motivation for you moving forward here with this challenge coming to a head is the Page of Stones. So another earth energy here. And this is the Lynx. And I love the Lynx because their story or their mythology is that they're able to climb so high into the heavens, almost right in the trees, that they get the sunspots and they come back down and they don't actually share their message. This is about, it's hard to say because I don't want to say secrecy. This is more about depiction and knowledge and knowing what to share when. So it's holding your tongue when need be, so that when you do speak, it has a higher frequency. Does that make sense? It's about, yes, holding back only for, I want to say dramatic effect, which is super silly, but you get what I'm saying. It's rather than getting in any kind of a screaming match or telling somebody what to do, because that's not what you want. That's kind of the waiting game that's happening here. Is I don't want to be telling you what to do. I just want it to go smooth. And overall, what is creating the energy of your reading is balance. We have balance here and here and here. It's this duality, this yin and yang and coming together. So I have a couple cards here just to give us a little bit more of insight. And we have intuition again. This is the moon on the water. So we have this egg, actually, that's inside of the water that's getting kind of fertilized by the nutrients in the water. And then we have the moon crowning there. So this is about a great pause. And it's kind of the lynx energy too. The lynx and all of the big cats are very intuitive. And they have this impeccability about them. They don't pounce unless they know for a fact that they will hit their target, right? So I'm feeling that here, and we have the intuition card there. So a very good indication there that your intuition has not been running the show. It's actually been more of this sword energy or the air energy, which means leading with your intellectual brain. And it's time to switch that up and lead with your intuition. And at the bottom of this deck, you all, we have the Two of Vessels, or the Two of Water, and it is a Lover's card. So here, what I love about this is it takes two to create this overflow that's happening. You see the two cups are being filled. It's kind of like a marriage situation. the heart is burning, which just means passion. And both humans, the male and female, are coming together, one with a horse, so there's more synchronicity there with the horse energy. And then the male is the stag or elk. Not that that's prevalent, it's just that they must come together and put their heads together. And lots of duality here. This could definitely be a relationship reading. And it is attraction, so law of attraction. So if you're not in a relationship, this would mean that it takes your contrast, your inner darkness and your inner lightness, to create the decision with your intuition at its peak. So here, this is just a clarifier. So what I'm going to do is stand this up, hopefully to where you all can see it, because that was just kind of an extra card, and there will be more. Okay, so we're going to move along to the next deck. Now, so we had the Wildwood, that was just what I pulled. This one here is called the Magick of You Oracle. Now, this is going to tell us what has been repressed, what energy has not necessarily been at the forefront, what energy you may not be aware of fully that may be driving the situation behind the scenes. Okay, we had two pop out. Let's see what they are. They will sit together. Okay. We belong to paradise. You belong to paradise. Love that. So understanding that you are of this pure heart, you have this amazing ability to see what's right and wrong and keep the peace and the justice. And then understanding that you deserve happiness. You deserve this blossoming, see? And here we have the mosaic, or mosaic, whichever you'd like to pronounce. Let chance play its creative role in your life. Okay, I love this because it's this bursting that's happening. That's in both of these cards. It's like a blossoming that's going on. It's like opening up and seeing from a different perspective. This is very much about deserving and being too much in control. I think that that might be a reason why the decision-making process has been difficult, is because you are wanting to wait and not want to do the wrong thing. You want it to be the correct action. So that stress is running the show and it really does not need to be. So let's just see what's on the bottom of the deck here. It says oblivion. Open your arms. So we have like this duct tape wing here that says open your arms to really fly. You see her arms are crossed. It's like she doesn't want to receive. She doesn't want to understand deeply. She just wants to kind of flow in a more easy direction, but in that same sense, there's actually resistance. So that resistance has kind of been running the show. Resistance to change, the need to control outcomes is not actually serving. So let's dive deeper into what we can practice that will be serving us. I'm going to go ahead and pull from this deck here, which is Sacred Destiny Oracle. The Gateway. Beautiful. So I love this very mystical feel here with the unicorn, and you can see that there's two sides to this little gateway, like this door to open, and the unicorn is here as kind of like a puppy dog. Is how I read it, where it's like, oh, you've made it, how beautiful, now let's go on this adventure together and see the waterfalls and the cliff sides and have this adventure. So the action to moving forward is going to be exciting and happy, and you don't need to fear what's coming. You don't need to fear this altercation. Even though the altercation is present, it doesn't mean that it is negative. It just means that it will open up perspective between you and possibly the other person to understand in a deeper way what is happening, what needs to happen, and where you're headed together. Again, I'm kind of leaning towards a relationship reading. I don't mean to do that. If it's something within you, then obviously it's just balancing the left brain and the right brain, your creative and your intellectual sides. So as we move forward here, the next card that's going to just be spirit messages from the spirit realm, we have this success card. And I love this because there's such a rarity here. And again, it's very mystical, kind of like the gateway card there with the unicorn. But what we have is the Black Panther, which actually represents the unknown, represents the void or the darkness that actually awakens more understanding. So it's entering that spiritual realm in your own way, whether it's meditation or doing your own tarot cards or crystals or walks in nature, and whatever it is that makes you feel connected and free, that is recommended for you at this time. And it brings this beautiful success that's like this bounty, you see. So there's lots of cards here in the deck that's like a dry desert, or, you know, kind of vulnerability. And this is quite the opposite. This is about a bursting of fertility, or, you know, new opportunities and potential. So we have these like piercing eyes, right? That's just like here to kind of stop you in your path and say, wait a second, where are you headed? Are you excited for where you're going? Are you expecting success? Are you allowing yourself to move forward freely? Make sure you can still see these. There it is. So, messages from the spirit realm is, though it may be challenging to put one foot forward and to decide this right from wrong, in doing so, you will be rewarded with success and a gateway to a new perspective that you have yet to ever see before. Now let's just see what's on the bottom of the deck here. Action. Beautiful, beautiful. So as I was just saying, taking action will lead you to, let's see where it will lead, because the next card I'm going to pull here, which is the Enchanted map by Colette Baron Reed, says a coming to life, this bursting, this unfolding, right? This blast off. It's like she's standing on a rocket and she doesn't have fear. She's dancing, right? It's actually, the base there is a statue, and the statue is no longer held still, is no longer just stagnant. It's actually like, I'm going to reach for the moon, I'm going to spread my wings and fly, which is quite beautiful. That is the result. That's what you're looking at experiencing, specifically when you are taking action on whatever it is that you are creating or whatever it is that you are looking for. In the bottom of the deck here, encouragement. So you may be the big giraffe, you may be the small giraffe. Again, I can't handle the lighting, so bear with me. Says encouragement here. This just means asking for help when help is needed. Again, finding this mediator that's going to say, you're not wrong, you're not right, you just need to be hearing one another. Or again, within your own mind, one direction is not wrong. One way of taking action is not more right than the other. The time will pass either way. It's more just what's going to make you happy. What is it that's going to help you fulfill your joy and make you feel that you are back in control of your own life? So, and I think that might be a conversation either within your mind or within the other person that says you're being controlling, because we do have the horse here a couple different times. We have a couple different indicators that somebody feels that there is a stronger, one person stronger than the other. Does that make sense? And it really is not that way. So what to do instead, what to focus on instead? Progress, advancement, gaining recognition, appreciation, achievements, acceleration, steady gains, and increased clarity. And this is from the Tao Oracle, Tao. It is based on the Book of Changes, or the I Ching, and it is Chinese descent. So I'll put these up here. These are just kind of for clarity. And I really love that card. Let's just focus here for a second. There's this dancing that's going on. This is not really male, not really female. There's just such a brightness to this card. And I'm called to the yellow hat because it's reminding me of these flowers at the bottom that this emperor character is feeding with his overflowing cup. So when the cup is overflowing, which means the emotions are expressed, the vibrancy is able to come forward, I want to call it emotions, I suppose it's emotions, thoughts are overflowing and are now in the open. And what happens then is there's this ability to look back on the accomplishments or achievements of how far you've come and then say, wow, look at how much I have made it. And then we're able to really find this bit of happiness or success since they're one on top of the other. And I do have to play with the light sometimes, you all, because the darkness is just bonkers. Okay. So the next card we have, which is interesting contrast, is called the Clinging. This is about fire, illumination, inspiration, devotion, an all-consuming passion, regeneration, spirituality, virtue, and enlightenment. So this is just the card of this deck that means fire. You could be dealing with a fire sign. I don't usually put astrological meanings to the other people in a general reading, but it could be. But this is also just about vibrancy and that coming alive and having the passion and vitality running the show. And I think that's very present here throughout the entire reading, which is just that the passion, which could come through as this, right? This like quarreling or fighting is passion generated, when rather than allowing that to run the show and run your actions, there's really no right or wrong. This is more about you being more authentically you. And when we're able to really decide, okay, this is me being a true expression of my aligned self, then I'm able to live my life with more of a pleasing experience. That's what the universe wants you to understand right now. At the bottom of the deck here, we have abundance. So more of this yellowy golden light here. It says plenty, generosity, fertility, ripeness, inner riches, reaping rewards, and harvest. So this is really about you within yourself. It's about who you strive to be and why. It's about what you're looking for in a long term, not even in a relationship, but just this yin and yang energy is feeling out of whack within you. But the reason for that is because it's time to really truly understand your intuition and understand who you are at your core. And in order to really and truly understand who we are at our core, we have to look at our decisions, right? And looking at our past decisions can sometimes be daunting or scary, right? Okay, I took control of the situation and maybe I chose the wrong thing. And maybe this control that I had to, even though my intentions were of purity and wanting to help and wanting to shift perspective and add contrast, you may be feeling that you made the wrong decision. And so it is weighing heavily on you and keeping you from this beautiful blossoming that the universe wants you to be able to experience. You are holding yourself back from this awakening experience because of holding on to past pains or wounds that you feel may have been self-inflicted or inflicted because you wanted to control. But the universe is here to say, like, it is your divine right to control not other people, but to command the elements around you to, what do I want to say? Because it isn't so much about control, and I think that that is where your mind may be, and it is very prevalent with the reading, but I'm here to say the actions that you take, rather than being about balance with the other person or the other side of you that might be dark, let it be instead in favor of the light or the alignment and this coming alive. I'll get to this later. Oh, I put it upside down. We'll go both ways. Okay, let me get this out first. Allow this to be where you're headed. Dolphins, if there's rainbows and butterflies, I would indicate those, but we have these orbs here in both sides where it's so related to your spirit and your divine higher sources of your choosing to help you to really command the waters, right? It's like swimming. You push the water and it goes this way and propels you forward. The way in which you control is actually quite divine. It may have been used for personal gain in the past, but again, your intentions were still pure. You still wanted this yin and yang to work out. You still wanted to have the light and the dark see each other for who they are, but Spirit's here to say, rather than trying to be right, rather than trying to create perspective and to create contrast, what if instead we created happiness and alignment? Okay, so we're going to just talk about the animals really quick here. We have the dog, which is about loyalty. So that is just another crown to the reading. The essence that you carry as you're going about this is that you want to be loyal to yourself and to others. But we do have the dragonfly here at the bottom of the deck. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It does say illusions, but it's more because they just have these see-through wings, so they look like a stick and not a bug, and it helps them to not get eaten, right? So rather than the owl, which is about seeing through illusions, the dragonfly is more about masking for your benefit. And I'll dive deeper into this when I bring up the links, because this is very similar energy here. Doesn't look like it, but it is. It's that impeccability. It's knowing when to be magical and mystical, right? Because fairies are kind of like geared to look here like this. But at the same time, if held still, they can disarm. Is that the word? They can create illusion to avoid conflict. And that has been what's going on, which is not a bad thing. And I feel that there's some beating up energy to you about what you've been doing or your approach to the situation. So what I'm going to do now is rearrange these cards, and it does take me a minute to do. So just get comfy. We're gonna wrap this up and everything will make such perfect sense. So I'm just taking the cards off the top of the bottom, the top of the deck that we pulled so that we can get a clear view here of the story. And it will be a very, very clear to-do list for you all. Just takes me a minute. So as I am rearranging these, I will go into a little bit more detail. This is such a beautiful card too. It's the second one down on one of these decks. So this is more about that control. This is that energy behind the Queen of Water, which is the way that the universe wants you to view quote unquote control. Is this beautiful flowing. Her eyes are closed. She's happy. The fish are happy, right? They are flowing with her, not against her. They're following her divine order of things. She's just trying to keep the peace. And she's just doing this beautiful dance with the universe and with the water there. And the water, again, is a representation of emotion. Okay, so those are good. Okay, so I will go into, I've got so many different card decks, you all. So I do apologize that there are always going to be so many cards on the table, but if you're anything like me, you will enjoy that. Okay, so the Queen of Water is you. At the core of you and who you are, your goal is this alignment. And seeing a duality and creating contrast for better understanding. Now, in the past, it has looked a little bit like control, a little bit like indecisiveness, or even conflict. But the universe is here to say, it may be time to get a mediator, and that is okay. Because we're bringing two sides of the whole together. I'm hoping that you all can see this. Does that help if I zoom in? Okay, so we have like the lovers here. So there's two sides to the whole. And there's this loyalty with you that you want so deeply to be able to show other people the way. Really, at the end of the day, you're more of a teacher than a healer. And you've taken it upon yourself to teach this person or to teach yourself this control factor, right? And you've been a little rough on yourself. You've kind of closed down because even though that is your goal, it's being seen as kind of a bad thing, this like fiery, hands up in the air, no thank you, I don't want assistance type energy. The universe is saying, don't be afraid to ask for help, to look outside of the situation, because there may be parts of this situation that you're not seeing. But once you do, and once you let go, there's this beautiful release that's happening here. And that's just healing. Some people call it shadow work. To understand the illusion and to understand where you may be seeing things from kind of a different perspective. So when we trust our intuition, which both of these have the same message there, and we take action based upon our happiness, and we take action slowly with more of a gentle approach, with more of a particular, impeccable, a more rare word choices, perhaps. The universe says abundance follows. Abundance follows the bold but also that quiet flow of the water. And at the end, we do see success here. But again, that panther is there to look at you in the eye and say, what does success mean to you? What is the core value that drives your inner sources, right? So overall, this is a very beautiful reading for you all. If any part of it needs clarity, do feel free to reach out to me. I would love to do a personal reading to add any clarity that needs to be added. But essentially, there's a perspective shift here that's happening. It's just time to really focus on the joy. And I love how these two cards look so similar. There's this beautiful dance that's waiting to happen for you. And as I dive through the cards and how to get there, this one is also the same. So there may be somebody in your experience, or it may be a part of you that's saying, in order to control, I must be bad. And the universe is here to say, taking action and directing, teaching, and having that loyalty at the base of your intentions, that duality and that contrast at the base of your intentions, is just needing to be shifted into happiness. And once the happiness is the focus, you can literally manifest this happiness, this duality, this yin and yang working together and legitimately thriving energy, rather than I'm here to control, you're here to listen. Again, could be your mindset, a subconscious programming, limiting to belief situation, could be a relationship, because we did have a love card in here. But I like to have it both ways because not everybody is in a relationship. So I do hope that you are surviving Mercury retrograde. It will be happening until the 10th of this month. Again, if you would like to book a specific one-on-one reading with me, I do recommend doing so, just because I can specify and clarify a little bit easier when I know who the directed energy is going to. So if you're interested in that, I will put all of the links down below, as well as the links to all of the cards that I have used today. I would love for you to like and subscribe so you can be here and catch your moon and rising sign if you would like to do that, and of course to see me next month. So I am sending you all so much love, so much light. I'm just organizing my cards here as I speak, and I will see you all next month. On that note, see you then. Bye.